Welcome back, fiction fans, to Not Just Any Other Story. I'm Anita Capri, and we are continuing with Season 2 of my podcast, Not Just Any Other Story. I'm really excited today to have two very special guests because the story we are doing is called Beach Picnic, and it's a true story, and my guests are actually in the story in real life. So I would like to welcome Anne. Thank you so much for being here, and Corinne. Okay, so we're going to start with Beach Picnic, and just to give you a little bit of context, the three of us were spending about, I don't know how many days, it was about 5 or 6 days, I think, together in it was about a week, in North Carolina, and that is where this takes place, as you'll hear in the story. Really, really cute narrative. But anyway, I'm going to start, and then we'll discuss a little bit and have Anne and Corinne read as well. So here we go with Beach Picnic. Ever since my visit to the coastal hamlet of Emerald Isle off the shores of North Carolina, I've developed somewhat of a soft spot for this particular patch of sun and sand. It is the place of a few firsts, including seeing my first dolphin, my first ghost spider, my first wild horses, and finally my first time boogie boarding. Every June, as summer approaches and vacation plans begin to take shape, I can't help but long for the green-blue waters of the Carolinian coast that could easily fool you into believing that you are somewhere in the Caribbean. It's a place of brown hard sand, not the ivory or pink powdery stuff of the tropics that seems to find its way into every available crack and valley under that bathing suit. No, this sand has rocks, pebbles, and shells of every size and shape, lining its wide stretches of beach, each of these true ocean treasures with its own unique beauty and history. Having spent 2 summer vacations in a row enjoying what the Emerald Coast had to offer, I decided that for the next beach vacation, we'd venture a little further down, just where the border of North Carolina meets South Carolina. A friend had raved about Sunset Beach and its many amenities, with a plethora of golf courses to choose from, shops, restaurants, and even an Italian ice parlor. It was no doubt a happening place. A few kilometers north was Ocean Isle, another beach hotspot. A few kilometers to the south brings you into the state of South Carolina, with its own beach paradises and the more populated hub of Myrtle Beach. This particular summer, I booked 4 weeks at a golf resort just a 5-minute drive to Sunset Beach. My husband and I, along with our 2 boys, drove down from Ontario the first week of July. I must admit that the men were less enthused about going to the beach, winter and snowmobiling being the preferred season and sport. I, on the other hand, was anxious to smell that fresh ocean air, to feel the rumble of waves crashing upon the shore, and to taste salt water on my lips after having spent hours riding the tide on my boogie board. The journey in total was about 18 hours, including the numerous stops for oversized breakfasts, leg stretching, and bathroom breaks, the boys sometimes peeing right off the shoulder of the interstate, while I slumped down in the passenger seat, totally mortified. Following 10 days of touring the area, playing mini golf, swimming in the pool, and going to the beach, my family left for home. My husband obliged to return to work, and my kids looking forward to guy time with their dad. For the next few days, I met up with 2 friends from home, Emma and Betty Ann, who were staying at a resort in Calabash, about a 10-minute drive from where I had been staying. Though not a golfer, I joined them for 18 holes and was thrilled to have seen my first alligator right there on the greens. A few days later, my friend Anne arrived to spend the next week with me, and so the 4 Canadians from Ontario took advantage of this beach paradise and our time away from our respective subdivision lives. We had dinner together, went to the movie theater to see a chick flick, chopped at Myrtle Beach, and played board games, all vacation activities my husband and boys would have loved doing. Almost a week later, my friend Corinne arrived from New York. Though Canadian, she'd been living and working in the States for the last 10 years. I understood why she loved New York so much. I'd gone a few times for a visit, and there was always so much to see and do. Corinne loved showing her city to everyone, and yet, despite her love of the city, she also liked the beach. In fact, she lived right down the street from one, but preferred the more temperate Long Island climate in summer as opposed to the 100 or more degree heat of the Carolinas. But as we only see each other once or twice a year, she had agreed to join me and Anne down south in the stifling heat for 5 days. Watching her unpack was the first indication that she had something special in store for us. Anne and I stared in wonder as she took out a jar of capers and then some cheese and other perishable food items from her suitcase. For the next couple of days, we would lick our lips and wait anxiously for Corinne's savory recipes to be enjoyed only at our upcoming beach picnic. The ladies are laughing right now because they're remembering that interesting first arrival with all the food coming out of the suitcase. Okay. From the moment she unpacked her suitcase, Corinne began talking about beach picnic and what she was planning to make just to whet our appetites and psych us up for a beautiful sunset-filled evening with good food, good wine, and of course, good friends. We even started a countdown. The day before our beach picnic, it was only 23 hours before beach picnic, and then the next morning at breakfast, only 8 hours until beach picnic, and then later on that day, only 4 hours until beach picnic, until finally the hour had arrived. Turning the television off just as a sitcom was starting, Corinne announced that she was ready to go. The homemade pizzas fresh out of the oven were wrapped in foil, the lentil salad, deviled eggs, capers, and cheese all tucked away in her picnic basket beside a bottle of fine red wine and real, not plastic dishes, glasses, and cutlery. This was no ordinary beach picnic. This was a classy beach do, like the glamorous ones you see in the movies or on episodes of The Bachelor. As we all piled into the car, double-checking that the beach blanket was in the back, I noticed a few clouds moving quickly across the sky. "Hey, look at the sky," I recall saying. "The clouds are moving awfully fast. It might be really windy once we get to the bit." Before I could even finish my sentence, Corinne interrupted with, "No, it's not. It'll be fine." I took my cue in proper form and didn't say another word about the weather. After all, why put a damper on this long-awaited event, right? So I bit my lip and stared at the clouds clipping along in the sky the whole way to the beach. When we got out of the car, we each took something to carry. Not saying a word to each other, we trudged along in the sand, trying hard not to notice the wind that was whipping through our hair so that it was hard to see where we were going. And I'm going to stop there and have Anne continue on for part of the story and then Corinne. So I'm going to pass the mic over to you, Anne.
Corinne picked a spot midway between the water's edge and the dunes. There were some young guys playing football just a little way off, and the sun was just deciding whether to start its ascent into the horizon. It looked like it would be a captivating sunset. But that wind, spreading the blanket out was the first job. As it kept lifting along the edges with each unrelenting gust of wind, we realized that we needed to weigh down each corner of the blanket. So we planted a bottle of wine in one corner and various containers of food in the others. When the containers started to move off the blanket, the wind having had its way with them, Corinne started to order Anne and me to sit in various spots on the blanket. Anne made the mistake of moving from her spot to help Corinne get the dishes and glasses out, but she was told in no uncertain terms by our beach picnic planner to plant her ass down and don't move, so that our strategically positioned bodies could keep the blanket in place. I myself stayed put when I came to the conclusion that any shift in body weight could upset the whole array of Tupperware containers full of food and dishware before me. By the time Corinne had laid out the food, we were, the three of us, all facing due west in the direction that the wind was blowing. I wondered to myself at that moment how we were going to be able to talk to each other, because not only were we all facing the same direction, we were, each of us, sitting a few feet away from each other at a slight diagonal, like chess pieces placed diagonally across a chessboard. The bird's eye view must have been hilarious. But silent I was, for Corinne was determined to have this beach picnic at any cost. For a few brief minutes, we almost forgot about the wind when Corinne passed out the glasses of wine with the deviled eggs. I didn't mind the wind, and the grains of sand blowing in my face, down my ballooned-out shirt and through my hair. I closed my eyes and took a sip of wine, which was warm and welcoming. It was when we started on the lentil salad that things really started to go downhill. I watched in awe as Corinne, who was in the foremost position on the blanket, put her fork full of lentil salad up to her lips. We waited all day for that lentil salad, and just as she was about to put it in her mouth, the lentils flew off her fork and into Anne's face and hair. Anne, who was seated just behind her and off to the side, sat frozen, wondering perhaps why the sand that had been blowing in her face seemed wet and chunky. Even after the realization that lentil salad does not stick well to the fork in the wind, we persisted in eating it, but every time we tried to get a forkful of that salad into our mouths, it just blew away. I had lentil salad not only in my hair and on my clothes, but was to discover later that some had found its way into my bra, and yes, even my underwear. Then the seagulls entered the scene. They flocked in from every direction, it seemed, and feasted on the lentils and pieces of bread that had blown off our forks, off the blanket, and had made their way onto the sand. By this time, the guys playing football started to stare at us, no doubt wondering what the wacky women on the beach blanket were doing, and if we were going to be attacked by seagulls while drinking Merlot.
Okay, so
yeah, that certainly brought back some memories.
It sure did, didn't it?
Yes.
We haven't finished the story yet. We're going to have Corinne read the conclusion, but I wanted to stop there because I don't want to lose some of my thoughts about. Like, first and foremost, when Corinne started unpacking her suitcase.
Yeah. And that was the part when we read the story that I could not remember that I had brought all of that food. I had lost that detail.
Oh, okay.
And so when rereading the story, I thought to myself, oh my God, I did bring all that food.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, she brought I understand food, but cheese and salami or something, or pepperoni or something.
It was some kind of salami, cheese. The capers was
fancy, very fancy.
Yeah, capers.
Yes. Yeah, and then the part when we finally left. I will never forget those clouds, how they were clipping along there in the sky. Yeah. And I just remember thinking to myself, man, it must be really windy out there. And you were having none of it.
No, I think I was actually a little bit ruder. I probably said, oh, shut up, it'll be fine. Get in the car.
And Anne was just driving.
Yeah, I always do as I'm told. So I just get in the car and I just do as I'm told.
Yeah, and then so when we arrived at the beach, even walking towards the spot that you were going to pick, the wind was already like whipping in our hair.
Yes.
And we finally found a spot, and I'll just never forget how many times we tried to reposition. Let me rephrase that. How many times Corinne told us to reposition ourselves, because we started off just wherever and willy-nilly, and then because the edges of the blanket, the corners of the blanket were turning up, you made us sit kind of, or you put stuff like Tupperware, right? on each corner.
Yes.
And then that wasn't working. And then we ended up in that funny, like, diagonal where we weren't even facing each other.
Yeah, I've forgotten that.
No, we weren't even close to each other.
No. But we did have the blanket down. Oh, did we?
Yeah. But it was just so funny because we couldn't really hear each other either in the conversation, because I think you were first, Corinne. You were first and foremost close to the edge of the blanket. And then Anne was next, but behind you, kind of next to you, behind you.
Right.
And then I was even farther back. Like, it was literally in this weird position. But we couldn't hear each other because we were all facing the wind.
Yes.
We could not hear each other. It was so funny.
You know what was great about that, though? What was great about that was the fact that it gives us an incredible memory of that day.
Yes.
Whereas if it had just been an ordinary day and we'd gone down to the beach, we'd had a conversation.
True.
We probably wouldn't have remembered it like we remember
That is true.
now.
Yeah.
It would have been a boring beach.
Yeah, it would just been a beach picnic.
It would have been like nice to eat, actually.
Yes.
Because we didn't get a lot of food in our. I think we got the deviled eggs in our mouths.
The deviled eggs were fine. The pizza was fine. It was the lentils.
Yeah.
But we didn't get to the pizza. We never got to the pizza because you wanted us to eat in a certain order.
We just got to the
No, we never. I'm sure that we ate the pizza when we got back.
You might be right. I don't remember.
Yeah.
I don't remember that detail.
Yeah. So I'll just never forget that lentil salad, because I was the last one. So I observed everything from my vantage point. And when you were the first one, right?
Anne was the first one of the wind direction. So no, I'm sorry.
You were first. She was in the middle.
The way that the wind was blowing, if I lifted a fork, the fork of lentils went directly
into Anne's face. Yeah, that's right. Yes, it was you. You were eating, and then they went into her face, and then somehow, how did I get lentils all in my clothes? It must have been what you were eating, Anne. You were in the middle.
I think so. Yeah, I think it just went down. Anne's lentils went.
Yeah, it was just unbelievable. These lentils flying everywhere, and then the seagulls.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it was just.
They loved it, though.
Yeah.
They did.
Yeah.
Free dinner.
Hitchcock film. What is that?
The birds.
The birds.
Yeah.
There was such, there were about 30 seagulls hovering overhead, just waiting for our food to hit the ground.
Yeah. I know. And the guys that had passed, the guys that were playing football, I can't even imagine what they were thinking when they were watching
us. Also, the people that were passing us on the beach.
Oh yeah.
Beach walkers, and they would look over, and you know what they were thinking? They were thinking, "What is going on over there?" All sitting so stupidly, in front of. Literally not facing each other.
Yeah. Oh my God, too funny. All right, well, we're going to get to the conclusion of the story now, and Corinne's going to read the conclusion of Beach Picnic, and then we will talk a little bit more. So, Corinne's going to take it away.
I tried to stay silent, but when I saw that salad fly into Anne's hair for the third time, I could bear it no longer. The giggle turned into a hearty, tear-filled laughter, and I was soon joined by my cohorts. Our laughter sounded like a chorus, like the calls of the seagulls that signal an uncontrollable urge to eat. When it seemed that defeat was inevitable, Corinne, our fearless leader, finally gave the go-ahead to pack up as fast as we could and get the hell out of there before the cheese and the capers could also get stuck in remote parts of our body and clothes. The cleanup took about 5 minutes, and when we finally reached the car, it was as if a weight had been lifted, a feeling that a struggle was over, that one could move on. No one should have to try that hard to get a mouthful of salad into their mouth. There was a minute of silence as we waited for Anne to start the engine, and then, as Corinne and I simultaneously took a look in Anne's direction, we suddenly burst into a new wave of laughter. Her hair, which still bore some traces of lentil salad, had become, to put it bluntly, somewhat of an oversized attempt at an afro. Memories of a trip to the science center come to mind as I pictured a kid touching the electromagnetic ball and her hair standing on end. When Anne looked in the mirror on her sun visor, she too began to laugh at her new hairdo. The 5-minute drive back to the resort was one of the most memorable of my life. I was barely able to breathe, tears of laughter streaking across my cheeks. Finding the incident not only comical, but somewhat bittersweet for our bossy friend, I could not get myself together and was still doubled over with laughter as I got out of the car. We made our way up 2 flights of stairs, carrying the beach blanket, picnic basket, and half-empty bottle of wine, a little less of a spring in our step. When we stepped into the cool, air-conditioned condo, we set to the task of spreading the food out on the counter, buffet style. Corinne pressed the power button on the TV remote. As it would happen, the same show was still on, having made our beach picnic one of the shortest on record at about 30 minutes in total. Sitting on the plane headed home a week later, I was still recalling the beach picnic with a huge smile on my face and thought to myself that sometimes little disasters, the ones that make us laugh once they're over, are blessings in disguise. Needless to say that the next summer, while vacationing with Anne and Corinne at Hilton Head, Corinne had packed a heavy-duty, sand- and wind-resistant beach tent for the much-anticipated second attempt at a picnic on the beach.
Okay, so that's the conclusion of Beach Picnic. And any thoughts about Anne's hair? I have the picture, you know.
Oh, do you really?
Do you want to see it?
Sure.
Okay, hold on. Yeah, I'm going to show you guys.
I think we need to get
I had totally forgotten that we were only gone for half an hour until that was it. I'd totally forgotten that.
Yes.
How could we have driven to the beach, done all that, driven back from the same boat?
I think the show might have been an hour, but point being that we came back within, oh my God.
Okay, so
There's the picture.
Okay, so this picture was taken when we got back to the condo.
Yes.
And so, yeah, so.
Yes, so the lentils were symbolic of...
Yeah.
Yes, what was happening.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
So I have never seen your hair like that.
No, good. I'm glad you have.
That was probably the funniest ending to the story. Your hair.
Yeah.
Your hair.
No, I think the funniest was the fact that we were back in time to see the
end of it. Yeah. Well, and you said it was Golden Girls.
I think it was Golden Girls.
So is it?
So that's a half-hour show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Yeah, Golden Girls is a half-hour show. We were on the very tail end, and then it went to another show. But we did arrive before it was finished.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we weren't down on the beach long. That included driving there, driving back.
Yeah, it only took 5 minutes drive to the beach.
Not even. It was so close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the setup had to be done so quickly because of the hurricane force winds.
Yeah, that was memorable. And then the next summer, I remember that new tent that you bought, the blue one.
Was it?
I don't know.
Sweat Lodge.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It was so hot in there. And do you remember there were these weird flies? There were those weird, those
like the sand flies?
Not the sand flies, those weird
no sands.
They were a little bigger.
Yeah.
They kept coming into the tent and we were swatting flies. That was also a disaster, I might add.
Yeah, a little bit.
That was not the greatest because we were all sitting in that tent sweating and then swatting those flies.
So, you know what? It's high time we tried a third.
Perfect.
We have to find a beach somewhere and try a third.
Yeah, we should.
Attempt.
We should.
Yeah, I'm lucky. And as I said before, I'm so glad that we had all these disasters happen because it truly, truly makes it very much more memorable.
Oh, yeah.
Than just sitting on the beach, yapping a bit, watching,
Yeah.
It's really memorable.
Yeah. That was a high-class beach.
Yeah.
I guess we didn't have plastic dishes.
I remember you brought we had real wine glasses.
So I probably just grab them from the condo.
Yeah. Yeah, you did. I think you did. We won't tell the owners that. Who knows? That was so long ago.
Well, wine does taste better.
Oh, it does. You can't have wine in plastic.
No.
It's just, you're right.
In a red cup.
No.
No.
Or blue.
A solo cup.
Yeah, one of those cups.
Solo cup.
Yeah.
Oh, that was very, very, very fun.
Yeah, right from the get-go. And we really were counting down. We're going, hey, let's go there a few hours before beach picnic.
Away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it smelled so good. Those pizzas, man. Oh, they just smelled like,
Surprised we didn't eat. I guess I don't remember.
we just never got to it. Remember, we weren't even gone a half an hour, so we wouldn't have had time to eat them.
So we must have had the eggs, the lentil, and
And that was it.
called it a day.
That was it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we left.
I'm not even all 11.
And I'll never forget walking back to the car, and I wanted so much to say, told you so, but I didn't. And if I would have said,
You in the face.
I know he would have punched me.
That's very restrained of you.
I know.
You in the face.
I know. I so wanted to say it, but we were laughing so hard. Once we got in the car and we saw Anne's hair, that was just like, I don't think I spoke the whole, like, I laughed so hard.
Yeah.
I couldn't speak.
Yeah.
I could not speak. That was just so funny. Oh, man.
Yeah.
It's nice to have adventures, isn't it?
Very
Yeah.
fun.
Good memories.
Awesome memories. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
And I'm so glad you did this, truly live.
yeah, of course. It's always fun to reread it. And I know I've read the story to you before. Once I wrote it,
Yeah.
and I didn't write it till like a couple years after. Like it was a while after.
Amazing.
No, the details were there because
Yeah.
I could definitely not unpacking food out of my
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it sounds like something I would.
Oh, you absolutely did.
It sounds like something.
Yeah. Well, I do.
It sounds like something you both would do.
Yeah. I don't know if I would pack cheese, though. I don't know if I'd go that far.
Oh, yes.
Well, remember I was saying,
How did you fly?
but it's
in the U.S.
yeah. But imagine if your luggage got lost. That's my big thing. Like,
Oh, it would have.
it would have been disgusting.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the airport?
Yeah.
The people in baggage handling.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. After a while. Anyway, that was awesome.
Yeah, it was good.
I want to thank you guys for being here, ladies, for being here.
That's you. Thank you.
Yeah. I appreciate you reliving this and reading it with us. And we just had to have both of you here to do this because it's our memories.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And now I've just relived it and,
Yeah.
put it in the front of my memory again.
Mhm, for sure.
So that's what's nice.
Hopefully there'll be more. So listeners, I hope you enjoyed Beach Picnic, and I want to thank Corinne and I want to thank Anne for being here again and reading and discussing our fun time that we had there in North Carolina. And please remember to subscribe or review and rate the podcast or the story on Spotify, Apple, whatever platform you're using to listen. I'd really appreciate it. And hopefully you'll join us the next time for the next story. So take care.